What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's the king of all VR kings. He's the sofa king himself. It's Jeremy King.
It is I.
The one, the only.
I need to come up with some titles for you besides regular Brian
ass.
Paul.
Yeah, but people
sitting
like
next
that.
to me. Yeah,
For sure. Sure, and every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dip into the PSVR archive. We pull out a game at random.
very random.
We just blow off of it. We take a closer look at it. We check to see if there's been giving love by developers, any updates, any DLC, any patches, and then we let you know, the little game cats,
Wow.
whether it's worth your time. We forgot to do that last week, and I was a little bummed.
I knew it was happening when we forgot it, but I didn't want to interject.
Yeah, and I don't know anything until I'm like sitting there editing, going, "Oh, I can actually see the bulbs going off in my brain one by one." Hope everyone had a nice holiday. We apparently survived.
We did.
We did. We're speaking to you from the past.
From the past.
We actually haven't celebrated Christmas yet.
No, we're speaking to you from the past about our future.
That's right.
So we
We go back to the future.
what if
eventually?
just said we survived, but we don't know that yet.
No, we don't.
So
we don't.
This
So if
could
we
be one of
didn't
those viral
survive,
videos. They were talking about surviving and they died.
Yeah.
So hopefully that
Then
will.
the
Hopefully
chan-
we survive.
then the channel blows up and we're all dead.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. What game did we decide to play this week, Jeremy?
We played Focus on You.
Focus on You by
VR.
Smilegate Entertainment.
Yeah.
Released July 16th, fairly recent, 2019, for
Nice.
$39.99. What kind of game is this?
I can't even say a dating sim. It's like a picture sim. I don't know what you would want to call it. Some sort of a simulation. And it is a dating sim if you would think it, but it's not about dating. It's about connections through photographs.
I think it's important that we actually address why it's not a dating sim.
Yeah.
I have played this game 3 times now, from start to finish. And let me tell you how identical all 3 times were.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Really?
Identical. They give you all these options, these dialogue
Yeah.
choices, and you can be super nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can be kind of aloof. You can be mean. And the only thing that ever affects is sometimes her immediate response.
That's it.
That's it. And then just, the story carries on. And it is the most linear thing you will ever encounter in your entire life.
Yeah.
Which is strange because it's only, how long?
Dare I say, it didn't even take me an hour to finish this game.
Oh, wow. I guess I took my time because I think it took me like 90 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Because every time you tell me, you're going to need this much time, I'm like, and then I play it, and I'm like, there was like 20% of the time.
Right. Jeremy beat Golem in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's the reason it's not a dating sim is because A, your responses don't matter.
Yeah.
You're not trying to woo this girl. Do people
No.
still say woo? I don't think people say woo.
I've said woo.
You've said woo.
Oh, yeah.
All
But
right.
I'm an old fart.
And it's also not a dating sim. I think this is really important.
Yes.
Because you don't have any options. You don't get to like make items,
Doors are closed.
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think you played Summer Lesson, but Summer Lesson, Des and I went pretty deep into saying, well, at least you can bring certain things on certain dates to kind
Okay.
of like make different things happen.
Okay.
You can't do that here.
No.
This tells a very specific story.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for you to do other than to pretend to interact by giving your dialogue response.
Yeah.
And just kind of watch everything unfold.
Yep. A very slow-paced experience, I would say.
You think it was slow paced?
I do feel it was slow-paced. With the dialogue, waiting for the response. After your responses come up and you select one,
Yeah.
waiting for her reaction, her response, her, and then doing something that stimulates another response.
I guess after playing the Impatient, everything seems fucking speedy as hell because that game is fucking ball slow. But okay, so you're this dude.
Yep.
You work at a cafe,
Iris Cafe.
Cafe Iris.
Yeah.
It's even called a cafe.
Yeah.
And you meet this girl.
Yeah.
Tell me about the inception, the beginning of this relationship.
So, well, first of all, you're at a park. You're a photographer. You like taking pictures. And supposedly, according to this girl, you're like the photographer expert at this school. And everybody knows it. So anyways, you're taking a picture. And then all of a sudden, this girl that looks like Alice in Wonderland, Alice,
Yep.
wearing the same type of dress. You take a picture and then she runs off. And then the next day you're at the cafe. That girl is there before open, because your responses were like, hey, you can't be in here. Or we open at 10. And then you make her a latte.
And if you've ever worked at a restaurant, the people who show up before it's open,
You hate them.
Fucking assholes, man.
Oh, pieces of shit.
Go sit in your fucking car and wait.
Yeah, retail too. And it's like, not only wait, but don't just, when I unlock the door, come in.
Right.
Give me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then come in. That's what, like the retail mentality.
And so there's already an issue here because this girl was like, she like ran away. She's like so super shy. But then here she is, first customer in line to be like, hey.
Yeah, give me the camera. I want to delete the photo you took of me yesterday.
Right.
That's your first interaction with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Awkward.
And so, and the cool thing that this game does right away is it says, oh, you're going to make something for her. You're going to make this drink for her, a smoothie.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that was the next visit. It was the latte the first. Well, you had a choice. Like
Right.
a regular coffee, a cappuccino, or a macchiato.
Again, the choices don't matter.
Yeah.
But then it gives you a
made a
chance to
macchiato.
do something.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool. This is going to be one of those games where throughout the course of my dating this girl, I'm going to be able to like kind of do all of these things for her and get real interactive and immersed because it's a VR game.
Yeah.
You know, give me some hands, give me some stuff to do.
Yeah.
And really, it's so limited.
Visually, it looked nice too. Like it looked, like pretty decent.
I think, and I think the look the whole time for me, I don't think this guy ever met this girl. I think he saw her in the park that day.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it's a dream because everything kind of has this sort of
little
soft, dreamlike look to it.
Haze.
And so I think this is all in his head. He's like, I really wish I could date this girl.
Right.
By the way, her name's Yua. And so the game's called Focus on You. Focus on Yua. And I was like, okay.
There we go. I get it.
It's like that's a thing.
You're right too, because at the end, or the end portion, I don't want to jump ahead, but there was no one on that island with you. Just you two.
Well, the whole game, man.
Not even the guy that drove the boat over wasn't even there.
The entire game, even though you're in scenarios where there should be hundreds, if not thousands of people around, it's always just the two of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's part of me that goes, I get it. You know, like when you're in a relationship and you really fucking love the other person.
Yeah.
That's all you see. Like everyone else is just background
Not
noise,
around.
right? It's just you, the two of you. So I'm like, okay, I can give it a little bit of leeway.
Focused on her.
Yeah. But I do think it's a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's did you notice the beach towel they were sitting on had the oceanic symbol on it from Lost?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, on this side. It was a palm tree on the side.
So what you're saying is that they're both dead.
They could be.
They're
But
dead.
Everybody thought that in Lost. They were not dead. They did the island. That happens.
Oh.
That's
Somebody just told me recently. You know what?
That's another talk.
It's a litter box.
Litter box.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We're going to discuss this in the litter box. One of my favorite shows.
Nice.
Anyways.
So everything looks really nice.
Yeah.
Right? Again, we should probably specify there's no movement in this game.
No.
There's no teleportation, no locomotion, nothing. The game
Yeah.
just kind of brings you from place to place.
Yep.
That's going to be an issue later. Hold on. And everything sounds really nice.
Yeah.
There's music for every single scene.
Yeah.
And all the music is different. It's very nice and very, just
Mood setting, I guess.
perfect. I was going to say playful, but a lot of it is kind of like just relaxing.
Yeah, like a Phantasy Star Online lobby room type of music, if you remember that game.
I think there's a few people out there that'll remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of had that feel to it.
Yeah, when are we bringing that game back? I love Phantasy Star Online.
Remember that?
Yeah, all Phantasy Stars actually, but Phantasy Star Online for sure.
Yep.
And then there's the voiceovers.
Yeah.
So it looks good. Mm-hmm. Music's good.
Yeah.
Then there's the voiceovers, which I think sound really good.
They do sound good.
I have no idea what they're saying.
Nothing. I got to take a word for it.
Right? The subtitles, if the subtitles are inaccurate, I'll never know because this
They were a
entire
little
game
bit.
is subtitled.
I don't mean like they were inaccurate from what they were saying, but the wording was not entirely smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could really tell the app must be authentic.
Well, so you can listen to the Japanese voiceovers or the Korean voiceovers. Those
Okay.
are the two options in the game, I think. And they sound good. Like it does sound like it doesn't sound like what was I just playing recently? Tokyo Chronos, which again you have to listen to the Japanese voiceovers. You have to read the entire game, but it's a lot of it's like very anime inspired, where
Okay.
so you get every so often you get the hyper overactive girl like
Yeah.
and this doesn't have any of that. This really strives for realism. I think it nails it.
Grounded in reality.
Yeah,
Definitely.
How much did the lack of English voiceovers bother you?
Actually didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Because often in games when there's English voiceovers, it's bad and it detaches me in a sense. Because when the voice acting is bad, it's just you're aware that, and it takes you out of the immersion. Where this was solid, even if it wasn't even real Korean or Japanese or whatever. It sounded great, and the facial expressions on her
Yeah.
were really good.
Facial expressions, the character
Subtleness,
animations,
too.
like
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
This had to be a real girl somewhere motion captured for
Totally.
the entire game.
Yeah, it had to have been.
This is hard for me, right?
Yeah.
Because this game is very Japanese,
Yeah.
right? And I think if she spoke English, like girls in America don't respond the same way that Yua does to questions and
Yes.
comments, and they don't have the same kind of animations.
No.
Like, they don't. So it's very rooted in its Japanese culture and in personalities, even to
Yeah.
the point where I think if she spoke English, it might ruin the game.
Totally, because it gave her a personality. She was innocent, playful, pouty. You know what I mean? Like in all of her dialogue, it just it that pushed through. And even though you don't know anything about this character, it's just here she is, and now you're interacting with her. But with the dialogue, it made her seem like a real human.
And how do we interact with her?
So, well, besides her just stating things and us having dialogue choices, she wants us to take pictures of her after she sees that photo that you took of her at the studio. I mean, at the playground or wherever. She decides it's too beautiful of a photo to delete.
Yeah.
So you want to help her by winning this contest for fashion design because she designed that dress she was wearing. And so that's how her excuse, I would say, to get you to notice her. So you interact with her by basically taking photos of her and having her maybe tell her where to go through dialogue choices for the next poses.
Yeah.
That's how you interact.
What do you think of the photography?
I mean, they were photos,
Yeah.
They were basically less options than an iPhone. You take a picture, zoom in, zoom out, rotate the camera.
Yeah. It's a little rough, man, because I think when you're talking about a photography game, you want two different things I was hoping for, I guess. One, I've played a bunch of photography games that were more like arcade based, like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
And you try to get the Pokemon in certain positions,
certain
and you get
areas.
points, and that you get them doing certain things.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of point system.
Yes.
There's none of that here.
None. And I thought initially there would have been.
Yeah.
I was trying to wait for her to what pose and be like, click, 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 that was it, I want to be like Austin Powers, and I'm spent, But there was none of that. It was like
it's all
you
for
took
you.
That was it.
Right? You keep all these photographs, and then later on you can print them out and do whatever you want to them, frame them, but kind of keep them in the Cafe Iris.
Yep.
But yeah, there's and the other part that bothered me was I'm trying to remember the other game that I was thinking of. I think it was called Africa. It was an early PS3 game.
Okay.
And it was all about going out into the African wild, nature, wildlife, and
I might remember this game.
and photographing different animals doing different things.
Yeah.
And but you had full locomotion, you had freedom of the entire continent basically. And so when you found a rhinoceros doing something interesting, you sneak up on it, right? You crouch down, you hide in the bushes, and then you quietly sneak to a good vantage point and then start taking pictures. Mm-hmm. There's no good vantage points here. The game says, "Oh, you are standing here for this picture." Boom. And good luck being creative by us telling you where to stand for the entire thing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know how large of a school this is, and him being the best photographer, but seriously.
It's apparently just the two of them.
I think so.
Right? He's the only photographer. Now he's the best.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think photography is actually, they focus so much on that in this game, but I think it's actually the weakest part of the game.
Yeah, I know, because I didn't know the story. I can't say there was much of a story, but as it unfolded, I kind of was like, she wanted to tell you something. That seemed like the story. She wants to tell you something, and always the character's just like, oh, and he lets it go. He's very. I found even his polite responses to be kind of rude. Yeah. He wasn't the best gentleman. But
and I think he was also very timid.
Wicked timid.
Right?
I think it's his first girlfriend, by the way. His sister via cell phone was teasing him and ragging on him, and his buddy. Yeah. About something with a girl. Once you get a girlfriend, because he was talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
How old do you think these two are supposed to be?
I don't know, 17-ish, I would say. They're in high school, I would assume. 17, 18.
I was even getting lower than that. I was thinking 15, 16, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
And so that's why there's if this game was done any differently, I think it could seem very predatory, very inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right. But for some reason,
Yeah, it's not.
no, because they don't really allow you to do anything that the game doesn't want you to do.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking sugary sweet the whole time. It is
Yeah.
so innocent in being like, oh, my first girlfriend, the very first time you hold hands.
And the vibration of the controller.
Right.
Zzz,
It's
zzz,
like a thing. Like they make it into like a whole scene. They're like, oh my God, first time we held hands, it was amazing.
I was almost disappointed when she wasn't real and we weren't dating. You know, it was like, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is a game.
Yeah.
Because she seems so sweet.
And I think my character or our character was so timid
Yeah.
that it was just it was frustrating.
It was frustrating.
I was like, dude, just go stand next to her and put your arm around her. Do something.
Right?
Like
even at that age,
yeah.
I already had more experience than this dude. I knew it.
Now
it.
that's a litter box episode. Right?
Well, yes.
So but there's two other things I really want to get focused on here. I keep saying focus.
So, I mean, focused. Yeah.
There should be a focus counter somewhere, like bing.
How many times?
Bing,
Yeah.
Bing. I don't have that kind of time to edit.
Come on, Brian, focus on the subject. Yeah.
Bing. The thing I was trying to get you to say earlier with how you interact with her.
Yeah.
The game recognized voice commands.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the thing about that is that the voice commands for me worked fine.
Yeah.
But it was so dumb.
There's only one word that's highlighted that you could use the voice command for.
Right, so you can say the whole sentence, but it's just looking for that one word. So why don't you just say the one word?
That's it.
It's a little bit silly. And on top of that, you can just use the DualShock 4 or the Move controller to select what you want to say. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you noticed this, but these voice recognition tokens, every time you say the key word and respond to her with your voice, it uses a token. Mm-hmm. When you run out of tokens, you need to buy more with real money. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts? I still haven't. I don't think they've actually opened that up on the PlayStation Store yet. I think for every update and every patch, they just keep giving you more.
Well, I hope.
But this is part of their microtransaction strategy. It's very strange.
It is strange.
Right?
I didn't use voice prompts because I was embarrassed in my apartment.
Weren't you by yourself? Yeah,
I was, but I was still embarrassed. When I used to do the live streams, I used to wonder what the fuck my neighbors were thinking was going on because I'd be loud, but being alone and them hearing like, oh, and then me being like, sit, like what would they think?
Right.
So anyways.
The other weird thing about this game is that there are, at the beginning of certain scenes, there are basically warnings on the screen saying, you're not allowed to stream this section of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Certain ones you could,
right.
Certain ones you couldn't.
Right. Certain ones you can't share photographs of online. I mean, it's very strict.
Weird, yeah.
And then so you take those warnings and you go back to the copyright stuff in the main menu.
Yeah.
And it actually says, under penalty of law, you are not allowed to share these scenes.
Why?
I don't know. I think they consider them spoilers and they're very protective of their game.
Yeah.
But under penalty of law,
that's crazy.
It's insane.
Chop your fingers off.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And so the game's only 90 minutes long, and we can only show about 35 minutes of it.
Jeez.
Maybe half of it. I don't know.
It's probably because they figured that's a huge portion of the game.
Yeah.
Most of it.
So the game's $40, and then on December 12th, we not only did we get a costume pack update for free, but we also got the Studio DLC. For $12.99.
Yeah.
You can get the Studio DLC in a bundle for a little bit cheaper with the main game if you don't already own it for I think $45 total. But it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane because this game was already crazy expensive.
Wicked.
And the fact that they give you this Studio DLC as an optional purchasable upgrade.
Yeah.
And we played around with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? But there's not a lot here.
No. 3 background settings that you can change from and some different outfits that you already had access to different outfits because you unlock outfits after you beat the game. You can go to Cafe Iris and change what she was wearing in the scenes, revisit memories.
Yep.
Like from your photo album, you can replay scenes with her wearing different outfits.
So now suddenly you're sitting in school and she's wearing like a bikini.
Yeah.
Like what is the point of that?
I don't know.
You've already seen the story.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm just dressing her up in inappropriate clothing for inappropriate situations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now I don't know who the audience is for this.
It make you feel guilty doing that. You know what I mean? Like putting an outfit and revisiting in the school. It just doesn't feel right. So if it was Cookie Pie in that school.
Totally different story.
Totally different story.
Right. Oh, yeah. We'll take her to school.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means, but we're going with it.
Yeah.
This show has really gone off the rails multiple times in the last week, and I'm just learning not to edit anything out and not to care.
Yeah.
So the other thing about the Studio DLC that I found a little bit fascinating is when you first access it, this is really strange, you call Yua on your cell phone, and she's sleeping.
Okay.
Or maybe she calls you. Maybe she like accidentally calls you while she's sleeping or something. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And so you pick up the phone, and all you hear is her breathing.
Oh.
And it goes on way too long, like way too long.
Yeah.
Like they took something that was sweet and sugary and innocent,
Yeah.
and you're like, come on, guys, this is fucking inappropriate.
Yeah, right.
And it's so wrong, and so
That one guy, that one part of the team that's like, can you put my part in, please? I'm telling you.
right. And so you have to say her name a couple of times to wake her up.
Okay.
But still, it's like it goes on way too
weird.
long. She's like
Yeah.
moaning a little bit. She's like breathing heavy, and you're just like, and she talks about like gorillas putting bananas, something, I don't know. It's really strange.
Strange.
And so there, the Studio DLC does attempt to actually go, oh, you like this game? Awesome. Well, we have more narrative for you.
Yeah.
So it's not just you go into the studio and you're like, oh, well, I want you to hold a tennis racket, and I want you to be in a picnic setting, and I want you to do this. There's every time you interact with her and ask her to do something different.
Yeah.
It's not just immediate. She responds to you. She talks to you. There's more interactions.
Okay.
Like her brother sends her a heart at one point, and like your character gets jealous, and so
Yeah.
there's a whole interaction about that. Well,
Yeah.
no, because you don't know it's her brother.
Oh, I see.
Right? And you're like,
Okay.
oh, who's sending you? Little heart emojis, and so she messes with you a little bit, and it's cute and it's playful, but so I'm glad, because I think again the photography element is sort of the worst part of this game.
Yeah.
That they added a little bit more story for the Studio DLC for people who wanted it.
Yeah. I even on the underwater scenes took photos of like the sea life going by.
Not that you'll see those, because that's part of the copyrighted section.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It
It's such a good looking game though.
yeah, it is.
The underwater part, I was like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah. I've never gotten bitten by more crabs in my life than in that looking for that bracelet.
Boy, when we get to that litter box, I do have a story about getting bit by a lot of crabs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
So what do you think? Should we rate this sucker?
Let's rate this
Let's
sucker.
rate it. What's our rating scale, Jeremy?
All right. Well, we'll keep it pretty G-rated on this rating scale. One is, race out, get this game. Download it right now. All the DLC, you're going to love it. You're going to love the heavy breathing, the innocence, the school setting, you name it. Number two, hold off. Just maybe get some, tokens and maybe buy it for free at the arcade. I don't know if that's a thing.
Okay.
But hold off. Wait for it to be on sale.
Play enough skee ball and get the tickets to reel out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Play carnival games and get the tokens.
Nice.
And three, just don't bother. Just don't even get a camera. Don't do anything with this game. Don't focus on this game at all. Focus on another one.
Right.
And so, Brian, what do you feel this thing deserves?
Remember, last week you asked me about Gungrave, saying like, what's the right price for this game? And I was like, don't know. Just don't waste your time and don't support these developers.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that says I don't want to support these developers because they're obviously just out there for cash. It's like a big cash grab for a ridiculously overpriced $40 game to begin with.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the $13 DLC. But unlike Gungrave, I think the graphics here are really nice. I think it tells this cute little story about this person's first relationship.
Yeah.
And I just think the whole thing is really kind of well done for somebody who's into that and wants to experience this short little tale. Unfortunately, I think the entire thing at maximum with the DLC is worth about $15 total, right? At best.
Yeah.
And so we're talking like $53 currently.
Yeah.
No. So it is the weakest 2 I've ever given.
Okay.
Saying, first, you have to be the kind of person that is going to enjoy this kind of stuff. Strangely, I was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so cute. I like this. Right. But the price is just ridiculous. So if you see the entire bundle on sale for $15 someday, pick it up. Go on a 90-minute adventure. Meet this girl. Have a little bit of fun. It's not creepy. It's very innocent.
Yeah.
And so don't expect it to go anywhere in that direction.
Yeah.
And if you're fine with all those things, pick it up when it's extremely discounted. It's very, very, very weak too.
Yeah.
What do you think? I can't wait.
So I'm going to go right for a 3 on this one. And I'm going to go for a 3 because of that price point. I found it so ridiculously expensive for what you got out of it that I was pissed off that I spent that much
Yeah.
for that little bit of gameplay, that little bit of interaction, that little bit of a story. And the story, not only that, was weak. The conclusion of what she kept wanting to tell you the whole goddamn time was like, oh, really? That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just felt that, like you, if this was $15, I would give it a 2. You know, because it wasn't bad. I didn't dislike the game.
Yeah.
It was just the content amount that I disliked. And the fact that when it was over, I was like, wait, that's it? I mean, I said that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't believe that it was over already. I thought maybe there'd be more, a new chapter. When you're sitting there and she's like, where do you want to go to take photos? And there's a map of all these different areas on this resort you guys are going to.
Yeah.
No. That one. After you select this one, no. After you select this one, no. She's like, yeah, we'll go to the island. So you go to the island, done. You know, it's...
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was over so quick. But I thought the voice acting was great. Visually, you could see the emotion in her face. You know what I mean? Like when she would do subtle eye movements and squinting of the eyes and all that, you could see it. You know, it looked really nice, and the environments were great. Footsteps in the sand, they left them there when she moved around.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice graphics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of that, it was just like, had it all going for it. And if they just maybe implemented more to the editing of the photos, maybe, if there was an editing software back in your dorm room that you could take your laptop that's there and interact with it and do things to these pictures. Change the backgrounds. Change whatever you want, add things, stickers to it, if you will.
Put her head on porn stars.
Maybe that's a copyright thing, what they were afraid that people
Maybe.
would do is just go wrong with this. But I just think if there was more to it, more substance to bring the value up,
Yeah.
then it could be a week 2 if the price went down even more. Even if it was 20, but there was a lot more editing you could do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go 3, and not because I thought it was a terrible game or the controls were screwed up or anything like that. Just out of the sheer depth that this game went. It was pretty shallow.
On that note, I will say we both tried it with both controllers.
Yeah.
The DualShock 4 pales in comparison to the Move controller here.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, after I downloaded the DLC, the Studio DLC,
Yeah.
my Move controller, I could not
Not
get
work.
it to work, which is very strange. I don't know if that was just my setup, but be aware that might be an issue.
Could happen.
Right. Also, if you want to play an awesome game about photography, play Photograph Boy on the PC Engine. It's an old 16-bit game, TurboGrafx
Yeah.
16.
Oh.
And it's still one of my favorite games of all
Really?
time.
Never heard of it. I
it's
never.
so good.
Would you say on a TurboGrafx?
Yeah.
I never had
PC
the
Engine, the Japanese version. So good.
Yeah.
There's like one person out there that's like, oh my god, I remember a Photograph Boy on the PC
Oh.
Engine. It's so
Yeah.
good. Fuck Bonk's Adventure. This one's fucking awesome.
Bonk.
Jeremy, I think that about does it for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. As
think
always,
so.
make sure you let us know what you thought.
You.
You.
The loyal game cats. Right.
We want to focus on
You.
Let us know what you thought of Focus on You. Also, did you buy the DLC? I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. But I still want to hear what you guys thought of all this.
Yeah.
As always, we want to hear what other games you want us to play. Man, that list is getting crazy long.
I've seen some Borderlands.
Seen some Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be one that takes some preparation.
That is going to be some preparation.
We'll have to be playing that kind of like nonstop in the background while we play these other
Yeah.
games. In
At least
preparation
I've
for
played
the
it before.
final
Now I got to
Borderlands.
use the VR version to. Yeah.
I've still got a lot of DLC to take down.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are listening, I promise you. For another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR, I'm Brian Paul.
And I'm Jeremy King.
And we'll see you
Next week.